Welcome, Brian. We're happy to have you on the show today. We're excited to hear your story. In a few moments, I'm going to ask you a few questions that we know our audience would love to hear and learn from. But first question, so for people that don't know you, what is your daily routine?
Well, there's two routines I guess I fall under. Is I work on an ambulance for Superior Ambulance, and so 3 days out of the week I work for them. And I usually wake up around 6:15 before I head out around 7:30. I like to be awake for about an hour to eat food, get comfortable, and I'm not rushing. And then when I work for Abstract Bodyworks, my other job, I'll usually try to wake up around like 5:15, 5:30, but that will fluctuate. It's not time set, but like I said, I like to wake up a little earlier, be comfortable with how the day's going, and be all set and ready myself. And usually when I first wake up, I've been really good about trying to like read some kind of scripture or something that'll like get me going for the day, but as of recently it's been hard. But I'm trying to put that back in my schedule. And staying off my phone too right off the bat. One of my good friends, she don't get on her phone until like 10 o'clock. No social media, no phone, no nothing, unless it's urgent, of course. But you're so much more productive as soon as you wake up. Early birds. I love trying to be an early bird, but It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I've definitely seen, like, I started implementing this like to my life, like with my phone. I turned off like all my notifications on my phone.
That's good.
Like, except the ones that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's definitely a big help. How do you balance that though? Like with two different jobs, is it hard?
It can get hard sometimes. Like for the ambulance, like some days they'll hold you over. Like work from 8 to 8, and some days they'll hold you over. They'll send you to stinking Mishawaka at 7:30, and you won't get home until 10. And then I'm like, great, I gotta be up in 7 hours. Yeah. Some days you gotta sacrifice sleep, but then I'll just take a nap later on a day because I don't work at Abstract all day. I'll work there for like 6 hours maybe, and I'll make up the sleep elsewhere, of course, and then get some training in. But it's just a balance, and then nutrition is a good thing too. Breakfast is like my favorite part.
Yeah.
Have like a consistent breakfast. It's like the same over and over again, and then making my meals because when you're on an ambulance, it's hard to. You can't really bring microwavable food, so it has to be either frozen or good when it's lukewarm. So it's a lot of fun trying to do that every day. Wake up and make like 3 or 4 sandwiches with a shake and bananas and just the regular healthy stuff. Saves you a lot of money too. Cause I used to spend like $40-50 a week on food, and that added up. And I was like, this isn't good. It's not healthy.
I need to start doing that. Like especially like I travel a lot, and all we eat is out.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
It's so hard.
Really hard. So next question. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, well, it depends where God wants me, but from the path that I'm trying to chase down right now, is the fire department in Hammond, full-time. You can start working there when you're 21. I'm 19, and so I have a few years to kind of work up to that. But I'll work there at fire department, and you work pretty much the same schedule-ish. You work like 3 days a week. It's 24 hours on, 48 hours off. So the 48 hours off, most firefighters have a job, or a side job, or a business or something, and that's what I want to do, is have something making money for me on the side.
Yeah.
And so I'm not always working for money, it's kind of working for me,
in
a sense. And working at some kind of fitness joint, or having, like I said, another source of income from fitness, because that's also my other passion. Is I love like being an EMT, and just doing the whole, whatever that entails, but also fitness.
Yeah.
And just wellness and longevity, that's my favorite.
Could you talk about like your Instagram page? I know like me and you've worked together a lot on your mock motivation, but where do you see that going in 5 years?
Ooh, that's a good question. I want to keep learning and growing that. It's kind of like a hobby, kind of like on the side, kind of an extension of that, like not the firefighting part, but the fitness part on the side to help other people just get comfortable with the gym. And just I want people to know me as someone who's like willing to help out no matter what, and regardless, be that good, that uplifting voice that'll help you when you're feeling down. Because one of my friends actually, I told her she was so inspirational, and she made a fitness page off of it because she's starting to lose weight. It's really good, and I'm so happy that she can inspire others. And I hope that I don't have the same story as everybody else, but I want to I have a story. And no matter what it is, I kind of want to relate to other people and help them and understand that it's okay no matter where you start.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere. And I don't know, maybe make some money off of it, some brand deals, sponsorships, who knows. But if not, even if I just help a few people here and there, get a few clients, that's all that really matters for me, at least.
That's super cool. Okay, so who are some of the people you surround yourself with to better yourself as a person?
You want specific people?
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah, I had a few people. My dad recently, he's not always my dad, of course, but as of recently, he's been doing a lot of like this. He's lost a lot of weight off of keto, and he's really inspiring, and he's really taught me a lot through it because me being my frame and my size, I don't have to lose weight, and so I don't have to go through that experience. But he just explains it through me. My grandpa is really good. He teaches me how to do just about everything when I was little, from yard work and stuff like that. And I follow a guy on Instagram, his name is Michael Hearn. I really appreciate his perspective on things, and he's a 51-year-old bodybuilder, and he's crazy. He's so inspirational. Other than his physical feats, his mentality is just amazing. Some of my buddies I hang out with, we hang out like once a week, play football on Sundays, and they inspire me to just eat better, act better, just hold myself accountable to who I am usually, instead of just trying to fit in with people, just be myself. It's I got a few good friends like that.
Yeah, you see a lot, like different friends can affect you in different ways
Yeah.
and like influence you to do right things or wrong things.
Mhm.
So definitely like having like the right friends around you is
Oh,
really
yeah.
good. And
It helps.
I think me and you have like kind of the same mindset of like just getting started.
Yeah.
So especially like when you're talking about like working out and that sort of thing, like when I talk to like different clients and that sort of thing, I hear them and they say they just got started right
Mhm.
away. So even with people that are working out, I would say to them just like get started, right?
Yeah, start now because you have, even no matter what your age, you have time. Like you will never not have time. You know,
Yeah.
you have time.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter like how you start. Like you maybe go to the gym 15 minutes or just like do a little bit of anything.
My friend, she was a little overweight, and she just found out she had like celiac disease and stuff like that. And she just started going to the gym, started walking on Planet Fitness treadmills. And she's been going for like 15 days straight plus, and she loves it. And I tell her she's an inspiration because I believe it's so hard for some people to make that commitment, and she loves it.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, tell people about this because they're gonna. So many people are uncomfortable, like, oh, it's awkward, because it is awkward. It is the first month in the gym, the first few weeks in the gym. It's gonna be so uncomfortable. You're gonna be worried about what people are thinking about you, but then you realize they're all there for the same reason. No one's there to put you down. No one's there to look at you and put you down and make you feel bad about yourself. We're all there for the same reason, to better ourselves. And you just gotta take that step forward and think about what's best for you. Don't worry about anyone else.
Yeah, that's why I love your Mock Motivation because it's just pretty much a support page, pretty much. Like you go there and you can just feel like you're being helped.
Yeah, I try to be as much as I can. Yeah.
Okay, so what is the number one thing in your life that helps you stay balanced? If there is a number one thing.
There's a few things. Schedule really helps. My dad's grilled that in my head because he went to a Tony Robbins conference a few years ago, and he came back. He is an animal, and I really appreciate it. And I still learn. My dad's always telling me about something. He's like, you have to go to his conferences. You have to go. And I said, all right, bet. I'll go to those conferences when this Corona crap goes away. And but Tony Robbins talks a lot about scheduling, and my dad is fit 3 times as much stuff into a schedule in the same amount of time because before he just didn't know how to manage it. And so that's a big thing too, because if you don't have and also a plan, which is the same thing as scheduling, but if you don't have a plan, then you're just expelling energy out in random. It's not directed energy. You have to have a goal. What's your goal? What's the purpose of it? And what effect is it going to have on people?
Yeah, I definitely see that like around our age, like people do not have a schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like
It's hard.
I started moving into like an ADHD program. I figured out that I had ADHD.
Oh yeah.
And like for me, I always like focused on one thing for like a little bit, and then I jumped to another.
That's how I answer this.
I know.
A lot of the time, actually, when I think about it.
Like I don't know, it's weird because like when I started doing it, I was like a little like skeptical, and I was like, yeah, I don't have ADHD. I don't know.
I'm not like that.
I'm not
Okay,
special. What are you talking about? And but they drilled into me like what you're talking about, like a scheduled time of like what you're supposed to be doing at each and every time, each and every moment.
Yeah.
And just like putting that schedule into place like helped me just focus on each and every certain thing.
Yeah.
Like especially this podcast. Like before I was like I'm gonna start this podcast, and like I even thought to myself I'm not gonna like, stay with this podcast. I'm gonna be maybe at 3 podcasts and I'm done. I'm not even joking.
Here we are.
But finding the purpose behind of what you're doing is as well. Like for me, as this Tuesday Talks, I've started hearing other people like, oh, this is a great podcast. I love learning different things about this. and just like feeling that feedback and just everything around that.
The support.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what gets me going too a lot with my pages. Is I love helping people, but I love it when people tell me that I give them a little bit of knowledge. Not because it makes me feel like, oh, I get an ego boost. Because like, shoot, I could share what I've learned, help you learn something quicker than what I did.
Yeah.
Because you see, the guy I learned watch, Mike O'Hearn, he's been bodybuilding and working out since he was 13, since he was pretty young, and so he gives us all his tips and tricks from the past years to save us that time, and that's what I kind of want to do in a sense, not just with fitness but with other things too. Like, don't worry about stuff you can't control. That just wears down. That just wears you out your whole day. Which I get. It's hard for some people. It's 10 times harder than others. But just worrying about something you can't control is gonna eat up your whole day, and you're gonna, at the end of the day, you're just gonna be like, I got nothing done but worry.
Yeah.
But you can learn tips and tricks to go around that.
I see. My dad preaches this as well, but he says like a supporter needs support too.
Mm-hmm.
So like even as if you see like your parents or you see like someone that's influential in your life, give them some support.
Yeah.
They can't. Yeah. I mean, like we started talking to this one guy, and around the world that we started implementing like different businesses for them, and we asked them to write down one thing about this one guy because they all knew him, and they always sent him a note and everything, and what happened? So he came back 90 days later,
Mm-hmm.
and he started bawling. He said that he got 13 notes when throughout that 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he started bawling. He's like, I was most depressed I've ever felt in those 90 days. But then after I got a note, I felt supported.
That's crazy good.
Yeah. Okay, so if you could change one thing about your life right now, what would it be?
I would read more.
Read more?
I'm terrible at reading. The ADHD part, I can't sit and stare at a dead tree and just take words and put it in my brain. I just can't do it. I try so hard. My girlfriend is amazing at it. She'll read for hours and days on end. I can't. I'll read, like over the course of an hour, I'll probably read like 20 pages, depending on how compressed the words are. But reading would be the only thing I would change, because everything else is just teaching me a lesson right now. Even if it's hard, it sucks, but it's teaching me a lesson.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. Like I would only get through like 4 pages and I'm just like, I can't even do this anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch YouTube for
Yeah.
4 hours.
But like another like thing to do is like start reading or not reading, listening to like books.
I've heard that.
That's so much better because you can like focus like on your job and then still have it in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
So like you can do 2 things at once, like
That's
if you
true.
can.
Mm-hmm.
But that helps a lot for me.
That's true.
So you said reading. That's really good. What is holding you back from doing what you want to do? Like I know you said that you want in like 5 years you want to be a firefighter, and then your mock motivation page you want to be able to like support
Yeah.
a lot of people. So
Yeah.
actually let's jump more into that. How many people do you want to support?
I don't have a set goal, but I guess I should have a set goal.
Okay.
I have set people to help, but I don't know. I don't have a set goal, but it's
Right.
something to think about, and I definitely will. The thing that kind of holds you back from jumping into a lot of things is the fear of failure. And I know it seems kind of like that's what I kind of talk against, like don't worry about it, just jump into it, but that's something I struggle with. And a lot of times what I put out on my motivational page is reminders for myself more than anybody.
Yeah.
I caught myself doing that a few times, where like saying some motivational or something inspiring for me. I'm like, wait a minute, this is more for me than it is for who I'm trying to talk to, but it helps me a lot. But just jumping in, and if I fail, then I learn something. If I win, I still learn something. So with education or with becoming a firefighter or something like that, just jumping in, getting started now instead of regretting it later.
Yeah.
That's just one thing.
See, I see that a lot with like people like our age, people that are like 25. When I had the other podcast or the other season, they were just like not really like jumping in right away.
Yeah.
That's what I want to help people with. Just jump in, like just push them a little bit so they can get started. But like having a set goal in place, and like maybe I'm gonna help 100 people, and then every year you come back and see that goal, like, oh, I've hit 20 people.
Mm-hmm.
5 years later, you're gonna hit 100 people.
Yeah.
So it's just like having that goal and like each and every day be focused on that goal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is something that you can do in the next 30 days that will help grow to where you want to be?
Jump into things. Don't worry about it. Stop second guessing myself. go. I'm looking at some personal training courses
Yeah.
and some certifications I just needed to go do. And stop looking at it and don't worry about how much it would cost, just because you can always get money back. You can't get time back. That's one thing. Like just jumping into it, you don't have time. You have money. Even how tight money is these days, with some people, they're broke. You'll always have money, but you won't always have time. And so that's something I kind of want to jump into. And with that, just do that, get that started with, and it'll get me inspired to do more and more things slowly. Just reading and just thirst for knowledge.
I got you.
Thirst for knowledge.
Could I give you a goal that like I think that you might want to have?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you need to figure out what your goals are and like an actual like time frame
Mm-hmm.
of where it needs to be.
Yeah, I was talking to my dad about this. I don't have two clear-cut goals.
Yeah.
It stinks.
Especially like figuring that out now, because then once you figure out where your goals are, then it helps you keep track
Yeah.
of where you need to be.
You have something you're looking towards.
Yeah.
You're running to. Yeah.
So like even like right now, just like pick one person maybe and see how you can help them. You know, in the next 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're talking about. Just in the next 30 days, what can you do? Find your goals. Find maybe one person that you can help and be influential to, or maybe like two people. It just depends on what your goals are. But just try to be always constant with it.
No, it's a good idea.
Okay, so what is one challenge you would leave others with?
Mm-hmm.
You can take your time.
Yeah. Because I could throw one out there, but I want to make sure it's good. You just, I would just say one challenge to give you guys is not to worry what anybody else says. And that's so cliche. That is so cliche, and I'm not even gonna deny it. But it's true. Because no one else has gone through what you've gone through. No one else sees what you see. I don't care how close you are with them, their family, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever. No one sees what you see through your perspective. You do what you know is best for you. Of course, you can get support and you can get mentorship and help, but no one else can pull that trigger except you. Don't care what other people think, because that's going to hold you back more than anything. Just have an open mindset towards things, be willing to learn, but don't accept everything learned to be true. Of course, jump into things and be smart about it.
Yeah, I think that one goes back to like the right friends as well.
Yeah.
Like who influences you.
Isn't there that quote? It's like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I started reading this book. I forgot, The Willpower Doesn't Work, and it's a super good book. But they talk about that your five friends are the people that most affect you, and that if you see those five friends, you'll see how it affects you.
Wow.
And it goes even deeper. It goes into deeper, like those people who they hang around with, those five people they hang around with can affect you as well.
That's crazy.
So it's like just like eating food, honestly.
Mhm.
So like if you eat like a burger, you're gonna get affected by it. You're gonna start not feeling as well. But if you eat like a steak or like have a right fitness plan, then you're gonna be on the right track.
Yeah, you're gonna want to get more around that stuff.
Yeah.
So the more you eat burgers or unhealthy food, the more you're gonna want of that. Then the more healthier food you eat, generally, you kind of want to eat more of that.
Yeah.
Because then you see how good it makes you feel and how more productive you are.
But like what it was saying is like he goes deeper. It's talking about like what that cow ate.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So,
grass fed or
yeah.
the chemicals. Yeah.
So that's how like what friends are. If like maybe they have like a bad friend around them, and you know it, and they're affecting you because they're acting different. Like even my parents, like sometimes I go and hang around a friend that is not a great friend, and they'll come back and they'll say, Jacob, why are you hanging around this friend? Every time you come back, you sound like you're being disrespectful.
Oh,
I'm like, I'm not trying to be. I just hang around this friend and I come back and I guess I sound disrespectful. I mean, I'm probably not. I'm probably a great kid.
No, probably.
Yeah.
Who knows? You're innocent.
But my parents see that in me, and just having those people around me like can point that out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's good though.
So when you were younger, what did you do to install discipline? Like I know you said you can start anywhere, but where did you start?
Where did I start? I don't know if there was one moment or not. I think it might have been over a period of time, but like I kind of, I don't know, like my motivation that kind of clicked off when I was just, now I just naturally want to help people. I guess
Yeah.
people kind of saw that but then I loved doing this one thing, and so I kind of was like, shoot, let me go put something on Instagram. That was like stepping right out of my comfort zone. And then seeing goals from there and trying to help people, but just being disciplined is with my diet. First of all, it was the biggest thing. It's probably my diet. Is saying no now so you can say yes later.
Yeah.
So like saying no now to this bowl of cereal for breakfast, and so later you can say yes and have like no repercussions because, you know, that's your snack. That's not your everyday meal. That's a snack, and you can still enjoy it just as much, but you don't get affected by it as much. So.
I just started using MyFitnessPal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
messing
I
with
kind of
that.
like it, but I don't know.
It takes a little bit to get used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
I
bad.
know what you mean.
But yeah. Were there any books that are influential to help you with your mindset?
Any books? I'm sure there is. My dad was telling me about one I need to read next. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah, that one's really good.
He was telling me about that, and he sent me a few quotes, and really good. I don't have any off the top of my head, but
Okay.
they're like really cool, like proverb type quotes, and I was like, that's really good. I gotta read that. Right now, I'm reading a book called Unshakable by Tony Robbins. It's like the miniature version of his whatever big book he has. It's like a miniature version, a compromised, or what word am I looking for? Comprised. There you go? Is that better?
There you go.
It's a smaller version of it, and it's a lot quicker because I'm not a big reader. It has like 200 pages in it, but it's talking about investments and stocks and money. And then the next one I'll read more like a mental health book.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then after that, there's a bunch of them actually. I asked a bunch of people on Facebook, a bunch of adults I follow, and they're like, if you start reading that now, you'll be ahead of the game because most adults haven't read these books.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to do.
I got 2 books for you. You gotta read 10X Rule by Grant Cardone.
Okay.
Dude, this book is literally like it changed my
Really?
life. Like for like when I started working out like a lot more lately, it's because I read that book.
Really?
Yeah, it's doing everything to the 10X.
Okay.
And just like putting your mindset into that. I mean, I don't know, like you don't need the 10X in everything that you do, but
Mhm.
most of the things, it's a motivational book.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Damn.
And then the other book is Go Giver. That's a
Who's
great.
that by? I've heard of that, but I don't know who it's by.
I don't even know.
Eh,
But it's a really good book. So if you look that up, but look it up on Audible because they're talking like Grant Cardone's one. I think it's Grant Cardone. He talks in it. But Audible is so much cooler to me
Mhm.
because there was this another book that I had. It was like a SEAL team, and they talked on it.
Oh, really?
So it was like them, their
Damn.
raspy voice and that sort of thing. So you get the real feel out of it.
That's pretty cool.
So Audible is like really cool for me.
Hmm.
Okay, so I always ask this question at the end. I don't know if you've listened to the other ones, but if you could pick one superpower, what would it be? And why? You gotta tell me why.
I think it would just be patience. I know
Patience.
that's a weird one. It's not like super strength or super wisdom, but it's patience for everybody. Because I feel like so many times we get impatient for things that, well, both religiously and just outside of religion in and of itself, is just we get too impatient.
Yeah.
We see what we want. We want instant gratification. That's the whole thing with fitness too. We want instant gratification. We want steroids, or we want this keto thing to get us fit really quick. But then it can be used good or for bad. And so I think patience and not wanting the instant gratification is a big thing, because seeing your long-term goals and being willing to work for them, even if it takes 10 years, and you see the most minute progress year by year, you still keep going. Because then most people will die off. from it.
Dang, that's good, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I know I was talking to somebody about some keto stuff, and they're like, "Oh, keto is terrible." Like, and they graduated from IU with their sports and nutrition. I was like, "Dang, they know a lot." And they're like, "Keto's terrible," or when people misuse it. I was like, "It's true, but it's also very good. It's just like any other tool." Because
Yeah.
like my dad, I don't know if you know him or not, but he used to be pretty overweight. He's lost a lot, over 60 plus pounds, maybe 70 now. Yeah, it was 70, 75. And now he's down to normal size. He's a healthy size now. And he's still doing keto because he loves it. And he's doing it healthy. And there's a dude named Thomas DeLauer on YouTube. He used to be 300 plus pounds. And now he's a healthy size. And he's fit. And he talks about everything within the body. My dad learns everything from him. But my dad wasn't in it for the short haul. He was in it for the long haul to make him healthier, because one of his friends recently died who was overweight. That was his age. And so he doesn't want to do that, and so he wants to get fit. So that's where that patience can come in, and that's where I want to be too.
Yeah, I love how you talk about like that short-term gratification.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like especially our age, have just want that. Like they'll turn to drugs, they'll turn to alcohol, they'll turn to that sort of thing,
Mhm.
just because they want a little high.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
money, or
Right,
this and that. They chase girls. They just chase whatever gets them away from the reality.
Yeah.
That's
Definitely like setting those long-term goals and then setting short-term goals that will help you
Mhm.
into that long-term goal.
yeah, like checkpoints almost.
Yeah, because I feel like people do set long-term goals, but then they're like, I'm not gonna get there.
Yeah.
They don't set that short-term goal of like, they just start getting depressed and they're like, I'm never gonna get there because they made a goal that's good for them, but it's so far out there that they don't think they can make it.
Yeah.
So setting that short-term goal, like maybe a year, maybe 90 days, and then to every day, and then every day they're hitting this goal, that will help them get to that goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Slowly but surely.
Yeah, and then like what you're talking about being constant, that's the number one thing. That's a great answer, man. I
Yeah.
never really hear that answer. That's really good.
Like, I try to be out of the box sometimes. One of these guys I follow on Instagram too, he made a really good thing. He's like, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to be consistent.
Yeah.
He's talking about getting lean and getting cut. He's like, I haven't been perfect, but I've been consistent, so I'm seeing results. And it don't matter if you're perfect or not. As long as you're trying, you're doing more than the other guy.
Yeah.
As long as you take that first step and you're trying to be consistent, even if you're learning every step, if you're failing 3/4 of the time, you're doing something. You're still learning.
Yeah.
And that's where some people get discouraged. It's like, oh, I failed this test or 3 times, or I don't know this. They're taking it over and over again. They're trying to pass it. They're trying to do whatever it is. I'm just using school for an example. But they're still learning. They're learning how not to do something. You
Yeah.
know, with the light bulb.
Yeah,
The
about
whole
to say
thing
that.
we were always told as little kids, you learn how not to make a light bulb.
Yeah.
But then you learn how. So
Yeah, it
failure,
took him thousand tries, but he finally learned it.
failure will teach you more than success ever will. So,
All right, so as always, today's show is super valuable information. I just wanna thank you, Brian, for being on and just sharing
course, my pleasure.
your story.
mhm.
Really cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you gotta check out his page, Mock Motivation. Is there any other plugs I need to plug in for you?
Not really. Just use code motivation _19 at any Raise Energy products. You
Alright.
get 15% discount.
Thanks, guys. Sweet.
Lit. I had to throw that.